Good morning, students. Welcome back to our economics first year class. Okay, so as in our previous classes, we have done with the fourth chapter LAQs, that is law of variable proportions, law of returns to scale, and also internal and external economies. So in the same chapter, today we are going to do the remaining questions, that is which is important for your 5 marks questions. Okay, so when you prepare these 5 marks questions or 10 marks questions, in the chapter, whatever questions I'm going to explain, you make sure that you be thorough in that chapter. Okay. So today, the next topic we are going to discuss is supply. In supply, you may get 5 marks question or compulsory you will get your VSAQ 2 marks question. A small topic, just we will discuss with that. Okay. So here, supply. Generally, what do you mean by the word supply? Basically, we know that supply, whenever goods are produced in the market, they should be supplied. Goods are produced by the producer. They should be supplied in the market for a given price. Okay. So here, you make the difference between the supply and the production. Because whatever the output is produced, it is not completely supplied in the market. How much production is done, that all producer will not supply in the market. So here, when we study about the supply, you see the meaning of supply. Amount of goods offered for sale at a given price is called as supply. Okay, at a particular time. At a particular time means during one particular time period, how much of amount of goods, what is the quantity of goods producer is willing to supply them in the market. Okay, so we can say supply means amount of goods offered for sale at a given price at a given time. That is called as supply, or we also can write it as quantity of goods producer is willing, desired quantity of goods producer is willing to offer for sale at a given price in a given time, at a given price in a market. So generally, if you see, desired quantity of goods means how much quantity he want to supply in the market. For example, he produced 100 units. He don't want to supply total 100 units. What he will do? He will supply 80 units or 70 units. Remaining 20 units he keep as a stock. Okay. So you remember here, the total quantity produced may not be supplied in the market. That's why we say what producer is willing to offer for sale in the market is called as supply. Okay, now let us see the determinants of supply. Determinants of supply, it may come for your 2 marks question. Okay, so just see the determinants of supply. What are all the factors that are determining the supply? So, first determinant is price of a good. Price of a good. As the price is more, he will supply more quantity because producer want profits. So, as the price is high, supply will be high. If the price is less in the market, he will not supply the total quantity. He will keep it as a stock. So, price of a good determines the supply of the commodity. Next determinant is price of related goods. Price of related goods. Like generally when we talk about the related goods, we have substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods which can be replaced, complementary goods which can be used jointly together. So when we say the price of related goods, as the price of substitute goods and complementary goods are changing, supply of these commodities also changes. Okay. So if you see here, if price of a substitute increases, producer may try to produce the substitute good. Why? Because if price of substitute good is increasing, demand for another substitute good increases. So he will supply that good more in order to get more profits. Okay, so that way price of related goods also affect the supply of the commodity, and price of factors of production. Price of factors of production. Generally, when the production activity is carried on, certain factors we use for our production like land, labor, capital, organizer. If price of these factors are high, for example, rent for land is high or labor wages are high, we cannot do more production. Means when the price of factors are high, production will be less. So it automatically affects the supply of the commodity. So price of factors of production. Another factor which is determinant here is state of technology. What technology are we using for our production? For example, in your business, if we use the best technology or the advanced technology, more production is possible, more output we can produce. Whereas if we use outdated technology or old methodology if we are using, production will be less. Means the quantity what we are producing. If we use advanced good technology, output will be more, we can supply more in the market. If we use outdated or old technology, production will be less. Automatically our supply is also less. So here state of technology is one factor which is determining the supply, and goals of producer. Goals of producer. Producer goal. What is the aim? What is the objective of producer? Whether to increase the profit, whether to increase the market share, or what is his goal? Depending on that also supply will be determined. And also we can say government policy. Government policy relating to the taxes, relating to the duties, what they are giving, relating to the subsidies, what the government is doing. If tax rate is high, supply will be less. If the subsidies are high, production will be more, supply will be more. Like that, the government policies also affect the supply of the commodity. So these are the determinants of supply. Hope you understood this one. Supply determinants are price of the commodity, price of related goods, price of factors of production, price of factors of production, state of technology, goals of producer, and government policy. So these way supply determinants are there, right? So if you get 5 marks question, you just give the meaning of supply and write what are all the determinants of supply. You can explain in 2 to 3 lines. This is enough. Okay. Now, next question in this. Now, based on determinants, we can write the question of supply function. Supply function is your 2 marks question. Okay. What is supply function? It is a mathematical relation it shows the functional relation between, you can write it in this way, it shows the functional relation between quantity supplied, between quantity supplied and determinants of supply. So just see what is supply function. Supply function shows the functional relation between quantity supplied and determinants of supply. Why we say it's a functional relation? Because the quantity of supply changes with a change in its determinants. Okay, so you can see quantity of X is a functional relation of, what are the determinants of supply? Just now we have discussed the determinants of supply. Price of commodity, commodity X, price of the commodity, price of related goods, price of factors of production, technology, goals of producer, government policy. So these all factors are affecting the quantity supplied. So you can just see functional relation when we say if price of a good changes, our supply changes. If price of related goods changes, our supply changes. If price of factors of production changes, our supply is affected. If technology change is there, then also our supply is affected. If goals of a producer are changing, our supply is also changing. And government policies are changing, our supply is also changing. So these are the factors which are affecting the supply of the commodity. So that's why we say, what is supply function? It shows the functional relation between quantity supplied and determinants of supply. So this will be your 2 marks question. Right? Hope you understood this one. See, in previous question, we have seen what is supply, what are the determinants of supply. Okay. Now, based on these determinants, you have supply function. You will be writing the supply function based on the determinants of supply. Based on the determinants of supply, you will write down the supply function. Now, next concept in supply you have to study, that is law of supply. What is law of supply? Again, same like our law of demand here. Law of supply, it explains the relation between quantity supplied and price of the commodity. Okay, so what is law of supply? Law of supply explains the relation between quantity supplied and price of the commodity. So all other factors remain constant. All other factors remain constant. This is called as law of supply. Same like our law of demand, it is there, right? So what law of supply explains? It explains the relation between quantity supplied and price of the commodity. All other factors remain constant. So quantity of X is a functional relation of price of the commodity. This is your supply law of supply. Okay, now to explain this law of supply, we use supply schedule. What do you mean by supply schedule? List of various quantities supplied at different price levels. Remember this one for 2 marks. List of various quantities supplied at different price levels. That is called as supply schedule. Okay, list means as the price is changing, supply is also changing. So that list is called as supply schedule. For example, you see now here price we are taking, and one column we are taking quantity, supply. Now, as a producer, as he is producing the goods, when the price is low, he will supply less quantity. When the price is high, he will supply more quantity. For example, if price is 30 rupees for a commodity, he will supply 1000 units. Example, books you take. If the price of a book is 30 rupees, he will supply 1000 units. If price increases to 40, supply increases to 2000. If price increases to 50, supply increases to 3000. Price increases to 60, supply increases to 4000. So see, list of various quantities supplied at different price levels. Different price levels, the various quantities are supplied. So in law of supply, what we have observed here, as price increases, quantity supplied also increases. Okay, remember this point in your supply. You have to make sure, because in demand it is negative relation, but in supply it will be positive relation. As price increases, quantity supply also increases. Now, based on the same thing, we will do supply curve. Depending on supply schedule, we will do the supply curve. Just observe here how the supply curve will be there. On x-axis, quantity supplied, and on y-axis, price. What is happening here? When price is 30 rupees, supply is 1000. When price is increasing, supply is increasing. Okay. So if you see, when price is 30 rupees, supply is 1000 units. When price increased to 60 rupees, supply increased to 4000 rupees. So what we have seen here, now join these points. Our supply curve is sloping upwards. Okay. So because as price increases, quantity supplied increases, supply curve slope upwards. Supply curve slope upwards because of positive relation between price and quantity supplied. So this way we can explain the supply law of supply. What was explained in law of supply? Law of supply explains the relation between quantity supplied and price of the commodity. All other factors remain constant. So the formula is Qx is equals to F of Px. As price increases, quantity supplied also increases. Right? So there is a positive relation. This law of supply can be explained with the help of supply schedule and supply curve. Supply schedule, it shows the list of various quantities supplied at different price levels. And the different price levels, you can see, as the price is increasing, quantity supply also increases. Depending on supply schedule, we will do the supply curve. Okay, you can see here, depending on supply schedule, we are writing supply curve. Supply curve slope upwards because of positive relation between price and quantity supplied. So this is your law of supply. Okay, so now this is one more 5 marks question from exam point of view in this chapter. Okay, so in this chapter you have 5 marks questions, that is supply and its determinants. So your question here is, what is supply and what are its determinants? So this is one question for your 5 marks, right? So you will write what is supply and what are the determinants of supply. Next, your 2 marks question is your supply function. What defines supply function? It shows the functional relation between quantity supply and determinants of supply. And next question, explain law of supply. Law of supply explains the relation between quantity supplied and price of the commodity. All other factors remain constant. Q of x is equals to f of px. As price increases, quantity supplied also increases. Okay. So to explain law of supply, we use supply schedule and supply curve. Supply schedule, which shows the list of various quantities supplied at different price levels. So that is called as your supply schedule. So we can see as the price is increasing, supply is also increasing. Now, depending on supply schedule, we have supply curve. Supply curve will be sloping upwards because of positive relation between price and quantity supplied. Okay, so hope you all understood the concept of supply. Okay, so the next concept we are going to study, which is most important for your 2 marks, that is cost. Cost analysis. So if from now onwards, whatever the questions we are discussing, all these questions you will be getting it for 2 marks each. Very simple one, but marks will be there, important questions. Now, cost analysis. Generally, what do you mean by cost? Cost means the expenditure incurred by the producer in producing a commodity. So, cost is what? Cost is the expenditure of the producer in producing the commodity. So, when the producer is producing any commodity, he will incur the cost, like expenditure will be there, like for raw material he has to pay, for all the factors he has to pay, to supply them in the market he has to pay the money. So, these all expenditure, we call it as the cost. Okay. So, the cost, what do you mean by cost? You just see, instead of cost analysis, you write down what is cost. Cost is the expenditure incurred by producer for producing a commodity. Expenditure on factors of production, expenditure on wages, expenditure on the money spent on raw material and all comes under the cost. So now let us see what are the different types of cost. These costs are divided into, first one, real cost. Now, these concepts are important for your 2 marks. Okay. Real cost. Sorry, first one we will discuss with money cost. First one, money cost. What is money cost? The expenditure of the producer, which is paid in the form of money. Or we can say the money spent by a firm in process of production is called as money. The money spent by a firm in process of production is called as money cost. Okay, these cost will be in the form of, like example, you can write here, rent on building, wages to labor, interest on capital. These all comes under your money cost. Okay, see what is money cost here? Money cost, the money which are spent by the firm in the process of production is called as production of its output. This much is enough for your 2 marks. So these types of cost will be for your 2 marks question. Money cost. What is money cost? The money spent by a firm in the process of production of its output. Example, rent on building, wages to labor, interest on capital. Now, second one we have, that is real cost. What is real cost? Real cost is the efforts and sacrifices made by owners of factors of production are real cost. So we can say real cost is the efforts and sacrifices made by owners of factors of production, owners of factors of production, owners of factors of production in process of production activity. In process of production activity. This is called as real cost. Real cost means we are not paying any money. Our money is not, means we are, how we are calculating the real cost here? The efforts and sacrifices which are made by the owners of factors of production. See, for land, owner will be there. That owner is sacrificing the land for making production. Okay, so for that if that land is not there, if the land is not given by the owner, then obviously we cannot make any production on that land. So he's sacrificing. And labor also, what they will do? They will sacrifice their time. They will put the efforts in the production process. Okay, so that way efforts and sacrifices made by the owners of factors of production in process of production activity. That is called as real cost. Okay, then next concept, next type of cost we have, that is opportunity cost. What is this opportunity cost? It is also called as alternative cost. We'll do it in next page. So next important question, this one. Most of the time it is repeating. Opportunity cost. It is also known as alternative cost or economic cost, right? So the cost which we incur on next best alternative usage of factors of production. You can write it as the cost incurred on next best alternative usage of factors of production. So what is an opportunity cost here? It is also known as alternative cost or economic cost. It is the cost incurred on next best alternative usage of factors of production. So any factor, if you see, when we use that factor, generally we can use one factor. For example, land is there. We can use the land for cultivation of rice. Every time we are cultivating rice in that land. Now, what I'm doing, I'm leaving rice. Now I'm cultivating wheat, because compared to rice, my wheat production I'm getting more. Next best alternative, right? I'm getting more income from the wheat production. So it is the next best alternative what I choose here. So that's what we say. It is the next best alternative, or which is foregone by the factor. So here this is called as opportunity cost, or we also can see opportunity cost is the cost of foregone alternative, or it is the cost of foregone alternative. Okay, so this is called as opportunity cost. Remember, when you get this question, you have to write 3 meaningful points. It is also known as alternative cost or economic cost. The cost incurred on next best alternative usage of factors of production. Because all our factors are scarce, shortage, we will use them alternatively. So when we use alternatively the best factor, we will incur the cost that is called as opportunity cost. So it is also the cost of foregone alternative. Okay, now to produce wheat in that land, we are foregoing rice. Means we are not doing rice cultivation, but instead we are doing wheat cultivation. That foregone alternative is called as opportunity cost. Okay, so these are the 3 types of cost we are having. See, what are the 3 types of cost? Money cost. What is money cost? The money spent by a firm in process of production of its output is called as money cost. Next, what is real cost? The efforts and sacrifices which are made by owners of factors of production in process of production activity. Means the factors of production owners will sacrifice their time or efforts to make that product. So that sacrifices is which we cannot measure them actually. Okay, so that efforts and sacrifices are called as real cost. Next we have opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the next best alternative cost which is incurred on alternative usage of the factors. So it is also called as cost of foregone alternatives. Clear? So these are the different types of cost here. Now we have again some more types of cost, that is short run cost curves and long run cost curves. Same, based on our production we have short run and long run cost curve. In short run, what all we will have? Generally, when we study the production in the short run, we have fixed factors and variable factors. So based on that, in short run, we have fixed cost, variable cost and total cost. These all we will have in the short run. Whereas in the long run, we will have only total cost. Why? Because we don't have any fixed cost now. So in the long run, there are no fixed factors. All are variable. So there is no fixed cost in the long run. Now, depending on this total cost, we also calculate. Now, for these two, we also calculate average cost and marginal cost. Okay, these are the various costs that are incurred in short run and long run. Now let us see what are these fixed costs, variable cost, total, average and marginal, which is very important for your 2 marks again. Okay, so the first one is fixed cost. What is fixed cost? The cost which is incurred on fixed factors of production. The cost incurred on fixed factors of production. Such cost is called as fixed cost. And as the output changes, fixed cost will remain the same. As output changes, fixed cost remains same, because how much ever output you make, your cost of building, your cost of machinery will be the same. It will not change. And also we can say, if production activity does not take place, fixed cost will be there. So, if there is no production activity, but we have fixed cost. Why? Because if you don't do production also, you have to pay rent on building. You have incurred the cost for your purchase of machinery. So it does not depend on your output. There is no production activity, but still we have the fixed cost. Example for fixed cost will be, so you can see the fixed cost, plant and equipment, or rent on building, interest, depreciation, etc. Example, rent on building, cost of plant and machinery. Right? These are called as fixed cost. What are fixed cost? That cost which are incurred on fixed factors of production. As output changes, fixed cost will remain the same. If there is no production activity also, we will incur fixed cost. Example, rent on building, plant on machinery, all these comes under our fixed factors. Means one-time investment we are doing. We are, as output changes, our fixed cost will not change. Now, second cost we have, that is variable cost. Variable cost, the cost incurred on variable factors of production. What are the variable factors of production? Raw material, labor comes under variable factors. So, as output increases, variable cost also increases. Variable cost also increases. And one more point you can write here. If there is zero production, variable cost is also zero. Why variable cost is zero? Because when you are not doing any production, you won't take any raw material. You won't take any labor when production is zero. So that way, when there is zero production, variable cost will be zero. Okay. Example, cost of raw material, wages to the labor, electricity charges, all these comes under our variable cost. So hope you got the difference between these two. Fixed cost means the cost which is incurred on fixed factors of production. And as output changes, fixed cost remains the Same. If there is zero production, but we have fixed cost. Okay. Variable cost, the cost incurred on variable factors of production. As output increases, variable cost also increases. So if there is zero production, variable cost is also zero. Like cost of raw material, wages to the labor, etc. So this much you should write for your 2 marks questions. This will be for 2 marks or this will be for 2 marks. Okay. Now, the next question we have, that is total cost. Total cost also you will get for 2 marks. What is total cost? It is the summation of fixed cost and variable cost. It is the summation of fixed cost and variable cost. Okay. So, it is the summation of fixed cost and variable cost. It is the total cost incurred by, it is the total cost incurred by producing the output. The total cost incurred by producing the total output. So, total cost is equals to fixed cost plus variable cost. So, this will be your formula for, total cost. Total cost is what? It is the summation of fixed cost and variable cost. It is the total cost incurred by producing the total output. You can write here total output. Total output. Okay. So this is called as your total cost. Now from total cost, we will calculate average cost. What is this average cost? Average cost is the sum of average variable cost and average fixed cost, or we can write it as, it is total cost per unit of, it is the total cost per unit of output, or we can say it is the it is a total sum of average variable cost and average fixed cost. Total cost per unit of output, and it is the sum of average variable cost and average fixed cost. Sum of average variable cost and average fixed cost, or we can say it is total cost divided by number of units produced. Average means what? Per unit we will take what is the cost per 1 unit. So here you can write it as average cost is equals to average fixed cost plus average variable cost. Right? This is one formula we can write. Or now what is average fixed cost? Average fixed cost is nothing but here AC is equals to total fixed cost by quantity plus total variable cost by quantity. This is called as average cost, or we can write it as average cost is equals to total cost by quantity. Why? Because total cost itself is what? TFC plus TVC. You have seen here. Total cost is what? Total fixed cost plus total variable cost. Okay. So, this way we calculate the average cost. Now, after average cost, we will calculate marginal cost. Next one is marginal cost. Marginal cost is what? Additional cost incurred for producing additional unit of output. Additional unit of output. So what is marginal cost here? Marginal cost is the additional made to the total cost by additional cost incurred for incurring additional for producing additional unit of output. It is the change in total cost. It is the change in total cost by or with a change in total cost with a change in output. Okay. So marginal cost means what? Additional cost which are incurred for producing additional unit of output. It is a change in total cost with a change in output. So how we will write? MCN is equals to TCN minus TCN minus 1, or MC is equals to delta TC by delta Q. Delta means what? Change. Okay. So here delta TC is equals to change in total cost and delta Q is change in quantity. So this way we have average cost and marginal cost. Hope you understood this one. Okay, now one more important question based on this average cost and marginal cost. Here you have to explain the relation between average cost and marginal cost. It is an important 5 marks question. Relation between AC and MC. So from the table, here when you write this answer, first write average cost and marginal cost. What is average cost? You will explain. Then what is marginal cost? You will explain. Then you will be writing the answer. That is, first you do the graph here. On x-axis, we have quantity and on y-axis, cost. So if you see, this is average cost curve and this is marginal cost curve. Okay. So from this, what we can write the relation here? First point, both AC and MC are U-shaped curves. Okay. Both AC and MC are U-shaped curves. U-shape means what it denotes? In the beginning, there it shows U-shaped curve, which shows 3 stages. That is, what are the 3 stages? Decreasing, constant, and increasing. Decreasing, constant, and increasing. What are the 3 stages in our U shape? See, as we produce more quantity, cost is decreasing, reaching to the minimum and then increasing. Similarly, my marginal cost also, you can see my marginal cost is decreasing, reaching to the minimum, and then marginal cost is increasing. Okay. Now, second point we can write MC becomes minimum and increases and it intersects AC at its minimum point. So it is intersecting our AC at its minimum point here. When AC is minimum, MC is intersecting AC. And another point of relation you can write here. When AC and MC are decreasing, MC decrease is more than AC decrease. And one more point, when both starts increasing, after reaching minimum, both MC and AC are increasing. So that will be your fourth point. After reaching minimum, both MC and AC are increasing. When both are increasing, another point you can write, MC increase is more than AC increase. Okay, see in the graph, MC is increasing faster than AC increase over here. Okay, so same thing what we observe in the graph, only that points we are writing it as a relation. Both AC and MC are U-shaped curves. U-shape means it shows three possibilities: decreasing, minimum, and increasing. So you can write here decreasing, minimum, and increasing. Okay, MC becomes minimum, then starts increases, and it intersects AC where AC is minimum. And when MC is decreasing, its decrease is more than AC. Both MC and AC, after reaching minimum point, both MC and AC starts increasing. When they are increasing, MC increase is more than AC increase. Okay, so this is your important compulsory 5 marks question. For this question, you have to write what is average cost, what is marginal cost. Then you will write this graph and you will explain these points. Okay, so this completes your fourth chapter, that is production analysis. Okay, hope you all understood these important questions from these. All SAQs, VSAQs and LAQs we have discussed from this chapter. Tomorrow, I am going to start with new chapter, market analysis. Thank you.